Okay.
You are listening to the new WCEG Network on WCEGTalkRadio.com. Watch us live on your smart TV, YouTube under WCEG Network. I'm Wardell Richardson, your show host here at WcegWood The Hollywood of the South for the next hour. We're the worldwide community empowerment group where we speak life into the community. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter and on Instagram at WCEG_talk_radio. That's WCEG_talk_radio and WCEG Network. That's WCEG Network. Last but not least, the topics and opinions are those of the show hosts and guests and not those of WCEG Network. Thank you for your continued support. So I want to welcome you again to another show with your boy, Wardell Richardson, right here on WCEGWood, the Hollywood of the South. I'm an actor, producer, director, writer, a multitude of different things here in the industry of film and TV and theater. So I welcome you back to the show. I have a great show for you today. Someone who's very dear to me, someone who's a great friend of mine. She's all the way out in Hawaii. But before we get to her, I want to just give you a little update. First of all, if you see my t-shirt here, you check it out right here, TSO, that's the 7 company. And he actually made this t-shirt for me, WCEG edition. And it's also right here on the sleeve. So thank you, my man. The 7 company, they call him 7. He's also a rapper. He came on the show, told us his whole life story. He had been to prison and everything, got out, changed his life, and doing all these amazing things. So, I have to give a shout out to him. He's doing this thing. I love this t-shirt. So every now and then I got to wear my t-shirt to represent. You know what I mean? You got to wear it to represent. The next thing I want to talk about real quick is if you haven't yet, make sure you go check me out. I got several movies out on Amazon Prime. My favorite and best film that everybody loves to go watch is The 30-Day Rule. It's a romantic comedy. Make sure you go check that out. A lot of people call me and say, hey man, I saw your movie. It was awesome. I laughed, and I laughed. So, it is a funny romantic comedy. And my co-host was Dominique Perry, who was on a show not too long ago, who's also a star on Insecure out in LA. So she's an a good friend of mine as well. So I appreciate her for coming on the show, doing her thing. But make sure you go check that out. Also, I have Addiction by Subtraction, which is a psychological film, and Greed, which is a film. It's an action film, and Flesh is a action film also based on human trafficking. So if you're gonna watch that with a certain mindset, because there's some stuff in there that is, just don't watch it with your kids. That's all I can say. But make sure you go check that out. The Last Time, if you have not seen The Last Time, a domestic violence film I did, I've gotten several awards for that film. It is now on an app. You can download this app called Bios, which is VIOOZ. Go on there and you will see a picture of actually it's a poster of us under the name Tiffany Hill, who's the executive producer of the film. And you can click on the button, pay $4.99 and watch the entire movie. So it is a great movie. Once again, it got me everything I am right now. It got me on having this radio show. It's a long story to that. Now I'll explain it one day. But, that's how I actually was able to meet Penny and able to meet a whole bunch of people. They saw that film. A lot of people saw that film, and it kind of gave me the boost I needed to do a lot of other things in this career. So I'm very thankful for that film. Also, there's a movie on Amazon called A Killing Secret. I'm not in it, but I directed that movie, and it's winning awards and going through LA over there, just taking up awards left and right. So I was very happy to direct that film. It was my first huge film debut, and it's doing great. And so I'm excited about it. It's a great project with some really good people that I work with right here in Atlanta. I got to mention that the Braves won. The World Series. We have to talk about. Like, listen, I was scared for a minute. I was scared for a minute. A few games back, they had the grand slam right there at the beginning of the game and everything, and then they still didn't get it. So I was like, oh, here we go again. It just had me thinking about the Falcons when they were right there. Right there. Didn't get it. But congratulations to the Braves for winning. Their final game that they played was a 7-0 wipeout. There was 14.3 million people watching that game, that final game. And just a little tidbit about it. The Braves won 44 games before the All-Star break, 44 games after the All-Star break, and won the World Series in the 44th week of 2021. 44 is a good number for the Braves, so they need to keep that in their head. 44 is a great number for the Braves, and I'm excited for them. Congratulations on the Braves once again. That's going to be a huge, and it's Hank Aaron's number. I just got that bit of information just now. It's Hank Aaron's number, who is a legend in baseball history, and it's the President Obama's number. He's the 44th president. So 44 is a big number in general. So also, so tomorrow, if you do not know, schools are shut down. There will be a parade for the Braves tomorrow. They shut down schools. It's going to be from Fulton County to Cobb County at the new stadium. It's called the Truist Park Stadium. They're expecting 650,000 fans to show up. Roads are going to be closed all over the place. So if I were you guys and you out and about, I would avoid those areas. Get to where you got to go early. They're saying the roads are going to start closing at 10 o'clock. And with all those people down there, it could be hours before it's even over. I mean, like maybe 1, 2 o'clock, who knows? But avoid those areas if you don't want to get stuck in traffic. But if you're trying to go downtown or any of those areas, I personally would take the bus or the train. That's just me. It alleviates trying to find somewhere to park. It alleviates trying to get stuck somewhere where you don't want to get stuck at. So I would take the train or I take the bus. But schools are going to be shut down. Congratulations to the Braves once again. That was a big, big win for Atlanta altogether. So we are very excited, and they are going to party tomorrow. Trust and believe. They are going to party. With that being said, now I can get to the main reason we are here, the ingredient to the sauce of WCEG Wood, the Hollywood of the South. I always interview the hottest in entertainment, whether it's in music, film, TV, or theater. And this particular person, I met her a long time ago when I was doing a stage play that was directed by the incredible Sharma Lee. And it was so long ago. And I remember some of the guys was talking about this one particular girl. And I was like, who y'all talking about? Like, it's Terry right now. I'm just like, oh, okay. And Terry, and I actually wound up meeting Terry, and we have been friends for years. Ever since we met, we have always been friends. We've done movies together and everything. So I want to introduce you to my good friend, Terry Bookhart. Hello, Terry.
Hi.
How you doing?
Aloha, I should say.
Aloha. Yeah, you're in Hawaii.
Yes.
How is it in Hawaii?
Where it is paradise here. I can honestly say that now, but when I first got here, it was totally like a different experience. I kind of knew what to expect because I was back and forth over the years. My family's been here for over 20 years. But when I finally moved here, It's a total different experience than living anywhere else in the United States. So I love it here. I do.
Wow. And I remember way years ago when you were saying you was moving back to Hawaii, you was just like, but I'm gonna come back. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
And you never came back.
I know, but you know what? I had to be on this journey. You know what I mean? Like, I had to do what I needed to do, not only for myself, but for my family, because I truly do love my family. Like, my parents, they sacrificed a lot for me, you know, just growing up, you know, in general, and, you know, going through school and college, and just, you know, being the only girl of five boys. You know, they were always making sure that I got what I needed, and I was always protected. And so my giving back was to actually move here and actually be around my family, and just offer any assistance that I could possibly offer, being that I've learned a lot, you know, in my journey. So
how is that? How was that growing up with all boys? Because you're not you're not really a tomboyish type of person that I see. You kind of prissy. So how were you able to maneuver around not being a tomboy?
Well, I was a kind of a tomboy, being that I like to, you know, be outside and do what they do. But when it came to like any altercations or anything like that, I never had to handle that. So my mom also, because I was the only girl, she made sure, like, I wore dresses for everything. I have on a dress right now. I hated it at first, but it was just like, oh no, you're gonna wear pink, you're gonna wear a dress, better not cut your hair. You can't do, you know, she was always just on me, and I hated it. But then after a while, you know, when I realized, like, oh, this is, you know, who I'm supposed to be, so let me embrace that. And then it was at that moment that she actually tried to burn this skirt that she actually bought for me. You know, it was like this really cute leather pink pencil skirt, they call it. And I was thin as a dime and had no hips really, but in this skirt, it was just like, it just showed everything. And my mother was just like, where did you get this skirt from? You know, and I'm like, you bought it for me. She's like, oh no, we got to get rid of this skirt. And I'm just like, God, like, you bought me this skirt. Then after that, she left me alone, because then I understood, like, my, you know, how to be a woman, my femininity, and the power that went along with that. And so I embraced, you know, being feminine after a while.
Now, so when you were younger, were you in Hawaii, or did you grow up somewhere else?
Oh, no. So I was born and raised East Coast, Washington, D.C., Southeast D.C. to be exact, where I went to Eastern High School, prior to Capitol Hill, not too far from the Capitol. I then went away to school, but then I was kind of acting up. So my parents were like, bring it back. And they made me finish school in DC, which I'm glad, because I ended up going to Howard University. Like, I don't know what I was thinking in the first place. Like, why would I not go to Howard University? You know?
Man, you know what? I had a partial scholarship to go to Howard University when I graduated, but I stayed back because I had personal stuff going on in my life, and I just couldn't leave it and go out there to school. So I tried to go to school here.
Yeah,
that's a whole nother story. But Howard is an excellent school. Felicia Rashad, some big names came out of there. Yeah. So I knew a little bit about it. I knew definitely a little bit about it. So when and how did you get into acting?
Okay, so I was not even trying, first of all. I wanted to dance. Like, I loved dancing. I don't know. You can't hear me. Okay. I love dancing. Like, I grew up in performing arts, and in this performing arts, it was acting, dancing, and singing, but I was too shy, but I loved to dance. Since I was like 5, I was just like dancing like like I've been here before. And so people would be like, oh my gosh, you should put her in a, like some type of, school or something like that. And so my mom, being the overprotective mom that she was just like, oh yeah, get her busy. I was in dance class. I was in everything. And so I only wanted to dance though. But then as I got older, I was, church plays and stuff like that. I would always like try to get in the back, never wanting to, come forward and hear people speak, for people to hear me speak. And so I remember in high school, I was in a choir. This choir was phenomenal, Easton High School Gospel Choir. Okay. They are still doing it way big, So when I was there, we went to Europe and we participated in the international film festivals, and we won second place worldwide. And we were just a high school. So this was different colleges and everything competing. But our choir director, the infamous Joyce Garrett, was so good that she got me to sing. And I never wanted to do that. I was on the cheerleader, my mom snatched me off of that. It was just like, oh no, she heard that they were gonna go to Europe and they were trying to go to Europe and all this stuff. And she was just like,
your mama was in the know. She was in the know about what was going on.
And my mother was very gangster. Like, she was very gangster in a good way, because she was just like, I don't care what you feeling. I don't care what you thinking. Like, you're a child right now. So I'm going to make these type of decisions for you, which I don't understand why they're not still doing that these days. Like, parents are so lenient. That's a whole different story. But they're like, oh, what do you think? Oh, I'm going to give you time out. No. My mother was like, you're going to do it or else, basically. So anyway, and I'm so grateful, because I could have not been anything had she just said, oh, okay, you don't feel like doing that, that's fine. No, my mother was like, you're going to get in the choir. I'm like, Mama, I can't sing. Oh, you're going to get in the choir. I don't know what you need to do, but you need to get in that choir, because you
need to learn how to sing in like 20 minutes.
You need to learn how to sing right now. I'm like, oh my God. And so I was more afraid of like what she would do if I did not get in that choir than me actually being embarrassed in front of people. You know what I mean? I was just like, I can't sing. These people laugh at me. But my mother is saying I better, and she gives you that face like, you better get. Like, that's enough for me. I'm like, my God, like that's anyway. So I. Somehow through my voice, I sang a Whitney Houston song, because this was like a while ago.
Wait. Like, so you sung, like, you was the lead singer? Like, you sung?
I know it was just me, but that was the song that I knew the words. That was like the only song I knew the words to. Okay. And I would sing it all the time. So I was just like, I guess I'll just try to sing this, and I guess that was me practicing, because I was singing over and over. It was, oh shoot, what was that song?
Whitney got a whole bunch of songs.
I know. It was like I believe the children are the future. I think.
Okay.
That one. And so I just sang that one, and I was just like, you know what? If it's not good enough, then whatever. I'm gonna just do the best I can. And I did. And I got in. And then I made my best friend, because I was just like, I'm not doing this by myself. So I made her do the same thing. So she threw her voice to sound like me, and we were both in the choir singing. But I don't know, we probably sucked. And now that I'm looking back, because the choir director was so good that she could get anybody to sing, like anybody. And by the time you were done, in that choir, you can sing, And I mean, classical singing, we sang Polyphasian dancers. All this German music we were doing. And she was just phenomenal, But from that, we would get interviewed and stuff like that. As soon as we, would come back in town from different events, like we got scholarships, 4-year scholarships. The mayor of the city, Mayor Marion Barry, who people are like, oh, he was a drug addict, But that man was he was a true mayor. Like he did so much for the youth in Washington, D.C. And I was one of them. I had a 4-year scholarship to UC. I didn't take it because I wanted to go to Howard University, but
I heard he did some great things.
He did some phenomenal, like after school jobs. I always had a job. And my job would be to sing in the choir. Like I got paid to go and sing in the choir, you know.
Oh, wow.
So he really looked out for the youth in Washington, D.C. But so then after that, my parents were just very strict people. And so any school to get away is what I wanted to do. So I ended up going to University of Maryland, Eastern Shore, because I thought I wanted to be a dentist. And they had like, what do you call it? A department for like science and doctors and all that.
Gotcha.
And so like, okay, I'm just going to do that. I just picked something, you know? So I went away to school, had the time of my life, showed my behind.
Right.
My mother was just like, bring it on back. You're not going back to school. I'm like, listen, lady, I'm in college. You're not supposed to be able to call me every day. Like I'm studying and you do.
So she was making sure you was on point.
Yeah, from way 4 hours away, you know, and I was just like, what is this about? Like, you know, you should not be able to do that. It's harassment. But anyway, I ended up going to Howard University. Funny. And I loved it because then it was just like so many people from all over the world were there. So even though I was in DC, which is like this tiny, tiny city, I met so many people, like it was just became international, you know, because people, Africa, the Caribbeans, Brazil, everybody would come to Howard University. And we had great people come out of there. Like you said, Chadwick Boseman was there. We did class together. Taraji Henson, we worked together. Like I worked with a lot of good Anthony Anderson. I mean, some of them were there before me, but you know, being in the city, you know, you come in contact with these people and somehow, some way you work with them because it's such a tiny little city, you know.
Now, what made you move away from there? Because when I met you, you was here in Atlanta. So how did you wind up finding your way down south?
Oh, because, okay, so like I said, I always wanted to get away from DC because it was so small and I felt like I couldn't figure out like I had this creative thing about me my whole life and I felt like I never really fit in because DC is so, you know, it's about the politics and the news and all that and I'm just like, I am so not a Black or white person. Like I'm just in the middle. I didn't understand people. I'm like, so you're just gonna go to work and come home and cook dinner and then go to sleep and then wake up and go to work and come home and cook dinner and go every single day. Like that's it. Right. And I didn't understand that forever. But you know, now I understand it's security and you can travel, you can do whatever you want, but you know, it's about that security. But back then I was just like, that's so crazy to me. Like to have one job for like 40, 50 years and that's it, you're done. And then you prepare to die. Like that's crazy to me.
The way you said it, the way you just said it,
I know, I couldn't understand.
Like you just go to work and then you die. Okay.
And then I was like, that's what I saw. And then you come home and you watch the news because people were always watching the news or reading newspapers. I'm like, this is so depressing. Or Sunday, watch football. I'm like, is that it? Really, is that it? It has to be more, you know? And I would just be depressed. But then by the time I figured out, like, because I was in my best place when I was on stage. I did realize that when I was on stage, I was just so happy, you know, but I couldn't really put it together. I just knew that like I love dancing, I love performing, but then when I wasn't doing that, I'd just be like,
what's next?
Like, what is happening? What are you doing? What's going, you know? And so when I first went away to school, I still didn't really understand that I loved it so much. I just thought it was something fun to do. And then when I realized I could actually get a degree and make it a profession, I was just like, really? I can get paid to do this? I can get paid. Like, are y'all playing with me? Because,
like paid.
You know, And so going to school freshman year, it was all about business and then show, you know, because I was willing to do stuff for free because I just loved it so much. And my professor, Professor Henry, she was just like, oh, let me just first let you know that you're an artist. Yeah. And I know you love and you're passionate about what you do, but how you're going to take care of yourself and take care of your life so that you can continue to be happy doing what you need to do is you need to know that it is a business first and then a show. And I was like, okay, so I can get paid doing this. This is phenomenal. Nobody told me that before, you know? And then once I learned that, and then what happened was when I just wanted to be a dance major, but they didn't have it as a major at the time.
Okay.
Not yet, they told me. So I was forced to do performing arts, which was all three. And I was just like, you know what? And whatever, I'll do whatever I gotta do because I just care about dancing. And then 1 year went by, 2 years went by, I finished all my dance classes. I'm just like, when are they gonna make this a major? And so they did it for like another, I think after I finished school, they made it a major. So I was forced.
Went all the way through school and got out.
All the way through school. I had to take the acting classes. I hated it. Oh, I hated the theater. Because with theater, like in my mind, I was very like quiet to myself. I thought I was too cool. Like, I'm not gonna be on stage screaming to the back of the wall so people can hear me. They need to come closer. You know, I just had this whole like craziness. Like, I don't want to get my face all screwed up. Like, I'm gonna cry in front of these. Oh no. I'm like, hey, that's crazy. Like, all of that was just so crazy. But then once I got into TV and film, acting for TV and film, they were like, oh no, you don't have to be that loud. You don't have to be over the top like that because the film is going to be, the camera's going to be right here and it's going to catch everything. Like, you don't have to do that.
Right.
And it was at that point that I was just like, oh my God, maybe I can do this because if the camera's right here and all I have to do is block out everyone and get in the moment and get into what I'm doing, then I can do that. I can do that, you know? Yeah. And then that's when I fell in love with television and film. So once I was done with school at Howard, I worked for BET for about 3 or 4 years. And I had no idea, like, I don't know. I know how I got the job. I was a great actor. I really was. Because I knew nothing about like finance and TV programming.
You just gonna say, look, I was a great actor. That's how I got the job.
Had to be because I just remember in school, if you dress the part, that's half the job. Like, you know, just go in there looking like you know what you're doing, having the confidence, business savvy, you know. And I was just like, yeah. And so when I went on that interview, I had a briefcase with headshots in there. And had they known what was in there, they would have just sent me packing, really. I was just hoping they didn't ask me to open, like, to see what's in there. So I had like headshots and resume for like stuff that I did. It had nothing to do with this job. And I loved the business so much that I could talk my way into it and convince people that I could do anything. And so that's how I got the job. And I was a fast learner. So, like, it wasn't, hard for me to learn stuff. And I didn't know how to do it. I always had that mentality. I guess it's coming from DC. It's like kind of a hustle-like mentality. If you can't do it, you figure it out some kind of way. You ask somebody, you watch somebody, you get it done. Like, you just do it.
Absolutely.
Like others, like, do it.
You have to have that mindset. In order to be in this career, you have to have a mindset like that.
And when I was in Howard University, I was in this organization, I'm still a part of it, called DIVA. It stands for Divine Intelligent Versatile Artists. And they taught me so much.
Gotcha.
It's like, you have to know how to do more than one craft. Like, it could be singing, dancing, acting. It could be producing, writing, directing. Like, it has to be three things that you can do. And so I was just like, okay, whatever. I had a good friend who was a year or two older than me. We were in performing arts in the city, growing up together. And she was at Howard before me. And so when I got there, she was like, oh, girl, you go play diva, da-da-da. And I was like, I'm not doing none of that.
So diva was like a sorority kind of, or?
In a way, but we weren't Greek. So sororities and fraternities are Greek. We were not Greek, we were unique. That was our motto.
Y'all made up your own thing, everything.
Yeah, and it was for women in the arts, but then guys wanted to be a part of it. So we have, Diva Sisters and we have Diva Brothers now. So they pledge and, but it's all about performing arts and perfecting your craft and figuring it out. Like I learned so much. I learned how to basically walk in heels anywhere. Like I could run. I mean, they taught me so much about life,
Right.
But I forget where I was going with this.
Okay, so I wanted to get to how you wind up coming to Atlanta. Like
That's right. Okay, so then after BET, I was just like, okay, it's time for me to go. I wanted to do film and television, so I went to LA, and then I spent time there. But then I was working with Steve Harvey and his production company. They managed me for a while. They were managing a bunch of comedians at first, but then they expanded and got into managing actors that, could be funny or whatever. And so they would manage me. I would get voiceover gigs. I would get theater gigs, commercials. Okay. And then Steve up and left and went to Atlanta. I was just like, wow, really? He's just gonna go. Just went to Atlanta because something was going on with the radio station where he was. So he wanted to do his own thing, which was the best thing he ever could have done. Because now he is the man, doing a lot of things, getting a lot of and making a lot of money. Anyway, he moved to Atlanta, and his road manager was more or less like my manager. So he was the one who, recruited me to be in the company, and he was more than just a manager. He was became my best friend, because he was older, more knowledgeable. He'd been on the road. He knew the business. He just took me under his wing, and I was just like, oh my God. And then he started pushing me to do stand-up comedy. I was like, I don't know about that, because that is not easy.
You know what? I remember when you finally got to a point where you were going to do it.
Yes.
Or did you do it?
I did do it, but it wasn't until I got to Hawaii.
Because I tried to come see it. Oh yeah, because you were going to do it in Atlanta first.
I was.
And I wanted to come see you.
Yeah. I pumped out. I did. I got to know too many people, and I was just like, oh my God, like, what if I suck? And these people see me. I just did not do it. So
you can't think you can't think like that. You can't think.
I know. What would people think? Like, oh my gosh, you got up there and bomb. Like, I'm the type of person where I need to be the best right off the top. At least I need to make you think that. You know what I mean? Like, behind closed doors, I'm practicing, I'm doing it just like everybody else. But when you see me, it needs to be the finished product, not you see me struggling. Like, oh no, I'm just not that. And that's a DC thing. DC, people from DC are just like all of that for no reason. It's just like, they just show up like, I'm it, and what? It's like, okay, whatever. But like, I love my people from DC. I love my people from Atlanta, because when I got to Atlanta though, it was another whole ball game. I'm so glad that I came to Atlanta. Yeah. They are the biggest hustlers, most creative. In Atlanta, I did not know. I didn't even want to go. He basically was like, you need to come. And I was just like, I'm not going to no South. Like, I grew up going south to Columbia, South Carolina every summer. I hated it. I was like, I'm not going there. What am I going to do there? The people in the South don't like me. They think I'm white. They think I don't know what they think, but like, they don't like me in the South. That's what I know. My own cousins would try to fight me. That's how much I know they don't like me in the South, right?
That's messed up.
Yeah, had me jump. I'm like, what is going on? So I was like, I don't know what I'm doing to rub these people the wrong way, but they don't like me. Anyway, when I got there though, he knew some people and everything, so that was a great help. I just wasn't there like figure it out, all by myself. And so that's how I even got to do that play, because he knew maybe Tommy from Martin Lawrence show. I think he knew him or something. And then he knew, what's her name? You just mentioned her.
Charmin Lee.
Charmin Lee. And I remember seeing Charmin Lee being an acting coach on set on a show where I was doing like background in LA. And she was, I think, Kyla Pratt's personal acting coach. So I remember seeing her walking around and stuff like that. And I was just like, oh, okay. You know, and I was just getting to LA. So I was just trying to figure out watching people, you know. But then when I got to Atlanta, she was like the girl over there. And I was just like, oh, what does she do? And then I looked her up. I'm like, oh, she's an actor first. Okay, so she's a hustler. She's an actor. She's a coach. She's this, she's that. I'm like, okay, I need to step up my game. Like
Charmin's no joke. She is no joke. One of the hardest classes I took here in Atlanta was her class, and she ate me alive in that class.
Yeah, she
but
is.
it taught me. Yeah, she taught me a lot. She taught me how to get outside of myself. Because I think with a lot of actors, we think too much to like what other people gonna think. Because you even kind of saying that a little bit, you know. We think we get too deep inside our heads thinking, you know, what this person gonna say, how they gonna feel. But once you put that to the side and just do you, you wind up just overcoming it all and shining.
And so it's like you learn that in acting, yes, you personalize the character, the words that they are saying, but at the same time, it's not personal because it's not you. It's not you. You are now someone else. You are now experiencing whatever that character is experiencing. You may even create or go, you know, in between the lines of what's being said, create some background stuff, but still it's not you as a person. And that's why at first I was just like, I had no idea what acting was, you know? And so my thing was, oh no, I'm not gonna get up there and be squinching up my face, looking all crazy, and then wearing all these stupid clothes, like, you know, whatever the character has to wear. If it's not cute, I'm not, I was so just like, no idea, you know. But then when I learned, like, it is not about you, like I think it was probably my second year of school and with acting, because I was then forced to act and I didn't want to. And my professor was just like, I did a monologue, right? And I thought I did so good, you know what I mean? I was like, I nailed that thing. I know I did. She was like, you know what? It was all right. I'm like, it's like, she hating. Why she hating? You supposed to be the professor, you hating on me, you know? And she broke me down. She was just like, man. She said, you cute. Yeah, you cute. You knew your lines. Yeah, you did. You was even entertaining. Yeah. I'm like, okay, I mean, what else is there? She's just like, but you are fake. You are, she was like, it's fake. I didn't really feel anything, you know, you just lucky because you were like, you know, somebody would like to look at you, but you didn't do nothing. And I really, she's like, you need to get into this character and really take yourself out of it, you know? And I was hurt at first because, you know, pride and, you know, I'm used to being cool.
I've been there.
You know,
I've been there.
Like, oh my God, I wanted to cry. I felt like, she was like, you get a C. I was like, a C? I thought I did so good. But when I really listened to what she said, I was just like, wow. She was like, first of all, is your character from DC? Because I had like a real twang being straight up from DC. She was just like, if she's not from DC, you don't need to sound like you're from DC. I'm like, well, who the heck else am I going to sound like? You know? And then I had to research dialects, dialogue, accents. And I'm just like, oh, I learned so much. I did. And I'm really grateful for people. I am.
And so you get to Atlanta, you see this whole change of scenery, all these new people. We met doing a stage play, and then we wound up doing a movie together. We wound up doing a movie together where we had to go down to Tuskegee University.
Yes. I was excited about that one. I was where we were going, Tuskegee Institute, you know.
Absolutely.
Like, and this is like, we're making history right now. You know, I was really excited about that. And it was just like, I appreciated Atlanta on so many levels because even if people didn't know what they were doing, they were still doing something, and they were not waiting around for people to give them something and for people to tell them yes or no. And I mean, I love LA, but it's just like so many rules and the way you do things, and you don't want to rub people the wrong way. So you just kind of sit back and let things happen because you don't want to oops, and you got to tiptoe. And so it's just like you basically have to wait. Like hopefully you find an agent who really believes in you, but then if that agent don't, they're not going to submit you. So you got to hustle and do it yourself. And it's just so much. But in Atlanta, it was more of, it was kind of a new, it started turning into like Black Hollywood, but before it was like not really a lot going on. So people didn't really know what they were doing, but they were still doing stuff. I was just like, oh, I watched that. I'm like, oh, this dude don't know what the heck he's doing, but he's out here doing it. He's out here promoting himself. He's like not afraid. And from that, when I got to Hawaii, first thing I did, baby, produce my own film. I was like, if they can do it, I can do it. I don't have no excuse. I got a degree in this thing. I've been in LA 10 years of my life. I've been on sets. I know, and so I mean, as hard
and you
as
got your family to back you out there.
Have my family, I did. I had my family, and that's why I was really, people are like, well, why are you gonna go to Hawaii? What's in Hawaii? Why won't you just go stay in LA? Why don't you go to New York? It's like, because family is important to me. And if I can do both, I'm happy. If I could be around my family and I can still do what I'm doing, it forced me to step it up because it wasn't a lot happening here at the time. And so it forced me to start writing, dig into myself. I wrote my book. I was just like, I just had all this peaceful, quiet time that helped me to be creative and focused. Unlike in LA, I was at party, doing this, doing that, just running in circles, really, is what I was doing. I would get a little piece here, get a little something there. But for the most part, it was just like, it was a journey in which I did go through, and I'm glad that I did because I learned so much. But with that, I was able to like take my creative self to another level. And so I'm grateful for the journey of being in LA, I'm grateful for the journey of being in Atlanta, even though I was only in Atlanta for a year, but I just, I learned so much. And so now I can, go back there. I can go back to LA or whatever.
Through all this process and everything that you've been through, moving place to place, finally in another family, what has been the biggest challenge that you had to face throughout your career?
The biggest challenge is, I would say, me getting out of my own way.
Yeah.
Me like doubting myself, or these little thoughts where like, who do I think I am? I can't do that. People are like, oh, you should, teach. You should open up your own school and teach kids. I'm not ready for that. When I get like real old, then I can do that. I don't got time for that right now because I don't know. I don't have enough. I never thought I had enough to give back or to help somebody else. Then it's just like realizing that my life don't have to stop for me to help the next person or try and guide the next person. I have nieces and nephews that are getting me, and now like they're like pretty much grown, and some of them took the path that I'm on, and they're like working, and I'm just like, oh my God, that's good. But it's just like, the little, advice that I gave them here and there, they took it, and now they're working. My niece, she just booked a Nike commercial last week.
Nice.
Like she got a Nike commercial. Like that's so cool. My cousin, she was in, not a substantial role, but she was only 4 or 5. Wonder Woman, what is it, 1989 or whatever it was.
Right.
She was the little girl in the beginning of the movie with the glasses that swings across the mall.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I'm just watching TV and I'm just like, okay. I think that's my cousin. Like, is that my cousin? And I call my cousin. She's like, oh yeah, matter of fact, she's being interviewed right now on, Channel Fox News. Stay tuned. I'm just like, this is really good. So my journey was not in vain. I really appreciate that.
Right.
But I feel like after getting out of my own way and feeling like I'm not enough, or it's so much I need to do, or, I just need to work on this a little bit more. I need to do this a little bit more, and just in my own way, instead of just saying, you know what, I'm going to do it. I mean, I would have people come to me, do you sing? Because you look like you could sing. We need one more singer. Da, da, da. I'm like, I'm not doing that. No, I don't sing. No. And finally, I was just like, yeah, I can sing. Oh, yeah, I can do it. I can do it. And then I get in this group and it was phenomenal. Like, it was the best thing I ever could have done because I was performing all the time, which is what I love, being on stage. Like, why was I saying no all the time? Why was I so crazy? So that's the biggest obstacle, getting out of my own way. Yeah.
Okay. And how has the industry been out there in Hawaii? Because I see you doing some work. I happen to look at a movie or two.
Yes.
And happen to see you. Happen to see
Yeah,
you on that. I said, what?
It is about the hustle. It really is, because again, I'm on an island. So when I first got here, it was hard to get in that circle because I'm not local, I'm not Hawaiian. They're like, she from the mainland. And for some reason, they just did not like people from LA. But I'm like, I'm not from LA, I'm from DC. So does that make it better? Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to get in where I fit
LA.
Yeah, because they had a thing from like, I was going to take this one class. And I was just like, oh, well, I asked the teacher, I was like, do you mind if I sit in on the class? And apparently he knew who I was and actually taught my nephew acting, right? We got the same last name, so can't miss, especially being on the island, but I didn't know. And so he got offended. He was just like, nobody sits in on my class. I'm just like, okay, that's fine. I just was, we do that in LA, but this is not LA. You know what? People from LA, I was just like, okay.
Oh, wow.
I need you to calm it down because I didn't do nothing to you. I just wanted to sit in on the class because, I'm not into just throwing my money away.
Right. Yeah, you should see how what's going on. You're supposed to do that, actually. You're supposed to be able to sit in. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just not into it, buddy, and so he never, I don't know if he ever did like me, but I was like, whatever, I'm not here for you. I'm just trying to do what I need to do, sir. Like, yeah, but it's a small island, but there wasn't a lot happening at all. So that's why I was forced to try and produce and write and do my own thing, which I'm glad because it forced me to step it up and to rely on me, and God, not just me, God.
Right.
But it was a lot that I had to like step back and say, okay, I'm not going to stop doing it. I'm not going to just not.
You have to find your own way.
Yeah. And so I'm like, okay, what can I do? And so that Hawaii helped me to do that. And I'm grateful for that. But now they're starting to have stuff coming here because people are recognizing Hawaii, how beautiful it is. And, it's not as, I guess, expensive, the tax breaks and stuff like that to film here.
Right.
So people are coming here more and more to do their films and TV shows. Right now we have Magnum. I think it's in its 4th season.
Magnum PI.
Magnum PI, the remake of that, in which TC is like from Jersey.
You was on that, right?
I was on that. Yes.
Okay.
Hawaii 5-0 was here for over 10 years or something like that. But they did their run, so they're done. We have NCIS is here now.
Really?
Hawaii. So I'm looking forward to being on that pretty soon. We have, we've had all kind of movies. I've worked on The Wrong Missy. I've worked on Sonic 2. Yep. I've worked on, I can't really.
Some stuff. You've done some stuff. Yeah. You've done quite a few things. Now, if I had to put you, like, what I got to do to get you to come out here to Atlanta and be a part of stuff I got going on out here?
Send me my contract.
That's it. That's all. He like, just send me the contract.
my
I'm on my way.
contract.
I remember you said that to me on the phone. You said, I got this in the contract.
That's it, and that is all. You know what I mean? We can take it from there. It's not a problem.
That's what's up.
I love
That's
Atlanta.
what's up.
I would come to Atlanta, and I still have the best people that
You
I know.
ain't trying to go nowhere. You supposed to been back at least twice. You done told me, you know what? I hope you coming out there.
Well, you know, because I was thinking of relocating, but I'm like, I don't have to just.
You can still live it. No.
I can go back and forth. I'm balling. I can do that. I know people that's doing that. Everyone's doing it. You don't have to live there. And now that, you know, the whole COVID thing is just like, I mean, I'm not happy with COVID, but because we get to do self-tape auditions, you can be anywhere. Yesterday, I just did an audition for the Connors television show. And then a couple days before that, I had an audition for Bull. I don't know if you heard of Bull. Bull. Well, it's a show that's happening right now. And so I'm just really glad that like I could do my self-tape audition. And then if I book it, I can go there and shoot it and then come on back to Honolulu.
It's a CBS show. So listen, first off, this has been a great interview. You're awesome to talk to. It's already almost over. So
oh wow!
It is.
And I was nervous about what to talk about.
Are you kidding me? You've been going since you got on here, man.
It's like, okay, cut it out. It's my show. I know you, Wody. I know you.
You are hilarious. No. I like what you were saying. You know, I wanted people to know about you and where you from and how you got here, you know, where you are. Because, you know, since I know you, you know, you've been you're a phenomenal actress, you know. And so you go out to Hawaii and you doing your thing. I'm like, seeing you on TV, I'm like, man, because I didn't know Hawaii was popular like that, but you made it look like it was popular. Don't know.
Listen, honey, my good friend, when I first came out here, she was just like, I'm like, okay, how come you don't call me? It's like out of sight, out of mind. She was like, well, you know, I got to watch my minutes, you know, and, you know, I can't be, you know, my roaming, and, you know, and I'm like, hello, Hawaii is in the USA. It's no roaming, like to call me. It's like, you just do 808, just like you do 202 and 301 and 410. And, you know, you just do the area code and call me. It's not like you call it Japan or China or something. You know, like that is so weird that people think that I'm not in USA over here. I'm like,
oh yeah, you're still in the US. Yeah,
I am still in the USA, and I'm so grateful that I know you too. I know I joke and stuff like that, but like your energy has been phenomenal. Like when I first met you, I was just like, I like this guy. Like he is a genuine person. You were about it, you know. I feel like you were kind of just starting out too. So you were like on your grind and trying to figure out things. Right. But you didn't tell yourself no. You were just very confident. You were like, you know what? Yep, I can do it. Yep, I can do that too. And I'm looking at this guy like, can you really do it? Nope, but I'm gonna figure it out. I'm like, no, that's right. Okay. Oh.
That's how you have to do it, man. You can't be afraid. That's what one thing about this business is sometimes you'll get an opportunity one time. It'd be that one time that you say no, or you feel some kind of way and you miss out on a grand opportunity.
Yeah.
You know, so I learned, you know, if it ain't that way out there, like if they ask me, can I sing? I'd be like, do you want comedy or do you want the real thing? Because if you want comedy, I'll sing for you all day. But if you're looking for a professional singer, I'm not your guy. So
right.
What you're looking for.
But we can work around it. Yeah. Right. And that is such a mentality that you have to have. Like we have to stop telling ourselves no. That's a really like cool thing that I learned from being around like people like Glenn Plummer. Like he was just took me under his wing when I got to LA. I thought he was a crazy person at first. I was just like, he's nuts, you know, dude, just back up. You stay over there. You know what I mean? But just great person, taught me so much, introduced me to so many people, made me know that this is a job too. Like you learn it, you practice, just like anything else, and you'll have it. Like you'll get work. Just, you just have to do the work.
Yeah. You have to believe in yourself. You have to believe in yourself and not be afraid to take a chance. You know what I'm saying? Because it just be those things. You have to know what direction you want to go in. You have to build a legacy for yourself and understand, because there are certain things I just won't do in film. I won't play a child molester or something like that in the film. I just can't do it. And I can't play a gay role. I'm not saying that I have a problem with gay people. Right. I just can't do a gay role.
Yeah. So, and you don't have to.
Right. And so it's certain things that I just want to do. And you have to stand by what you believe in and stand by, how you want your legacy to be, how you want people to know you, because that your name is going to carry you all the way through this business.
Exactly. And no role is too small. Like,
Nope.
You can do so much just with a broom in your hand and sweeping it across the stage. Like you can do so much. Like people think, oh, all I said was this. Okay, but no, that's not all you. That's all you said. But what did you do with it?
Right.
This I love this business. I've learned so much just being a human being.
Right.
Through this process. I started out a really shy, I don't want to do this, and now people, look at me and they're like, is that Terry? Is that the same person? And so now
you even seem you different from the way you were when I met you back.
Oh wow. I hope in a good way.
In a good way. Like you were still kind of shy when I met you. You were still kind of shy, but when you got to do your thing on stage, though, that shy was nowhere to be found.
Oh, I'm a different person.
In your element. Yeah.
I'm whoever that character is on stage. Exactly. I'm like the biggest, smallest person ever. I've been told that a lot.
So, because you are, people don't know, but you're a little thing. You're a little thing.
I'm very petite. I'm very
petite. You hold a big impression on people. So, that when you say your size don't matter, obviously, because you do your thing. And then your range in roles you can play is just super long. So, you
gotta put in your work.
You can still play a high school, a college person, high school person, all kind of things, Yeah. So that's the thing. So now, if you could give one bit of advice to someone who's listening, who's thinking, I want to be an actress, what piece of advice would you give them?
I would tell them to do it. Follow your dreams if that's what you want, and don't let anybody tell you can't do it for any reason. I was freshman year of college. I know I keep going back to college because I learned so much at HU.
Right.
I mean, I grew up there, and I had a professor who told us that, basically, if this is something you're saying you want to do, nobody should ever be able to tell you not to, or you should do something else. And I had this one colleague. He wanted to be an actor, but he had a list, like he spoke with a list like that. Mm-hmm. And that became one of my character go-to things to do. Like I could add that in my, so I learned from him how to do that, but I'm not making fun, but you can learn anything from anybody, being on the bus,
life is a class, that's what I say. Life is a class.
That's what I want to say. Yeah. And so
I get where
she told him, because he was just not putting in the work. He was very intimidated, very insecure, and she told him, if, she just told him, you shouldn't do this. You should just change your major. And I was just like, and did the professor just say that to the child?
Wow.
Did she just say that to this young person, who's, very impressionable right now? I know better.
Wow.
If somebody said that to me, I'd be like, who do you think you thought you ever talk? You know what I mean? That's me, but that's because I know, like, I had the passion. You can't tell me to not do something if it's my passion to do it.
Exactly.
Like, who are you to do that? You're gonna have to be Jesus, right? Yeah. And so she told him that. And I sat there and I'm like, I don't see what I thought he was gonna punch this lady in the face. He started crying and changed his major. Man. And I would see him on the yard. He was now in the science department somewhere. Like,
wow. See, I hate when people do that. They just shot his whole dream down. Some people don't know how to bounce back from that. They don't. If you look at it that way, then what I learned from that was he didn't want to do this because why was it that easy for him to just roll out like that? Like, well, you're paying this lady to teach you. Like, everybody gotta, like, if you can't sing, you can training, learning. You can learn how to do anything. You can learn how to shoot guns. You can learn. I mean, you can learn everything. I don't know. He did. And I don't know whatever happened to him, but he sure did change his major. Hopefully he's a successful scientist somewhere doing something really fabulous to make up for that. But I was just like, wow, that's crazy. Well, we are at the end of the show. Okay. I just appreciate you for coming on. Real quick, let everybody know how they can reach you, your social media handle, stuff like that. Okay, so Instagram is Terry Bookhart Official. Facebook, it's just my name, Terry T Bookhart. That's it for now. Okay. And IMDb, of course, Actors Access, is big for me. Please go to Actors Access. All of that. Okay, Terry, I appreciate you for coming on the show, man. Thanks for having me. Yeah, it was a pleasure having you. You are something else, man. You bring back talking to you like this. Just bring back how we used to be back in the day, because we used to chop it up and stuff all the time. We'd be on the phone talking all the time about stuff and talk about projects and film and working together, all kind of stuff, man. So we had a great time. When you said we became really close friends, so I appreciate you for making the time to come on the show, because I know you in school and everything out there, and you took the time to come on the interview on our show, because you're in Hawaii. Y'all are 6 hours behind. So I have to say I appreciate you and for just taking the time to come on the show. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Terry Bookhart, one of my good friends. You know, thank you for coming on once again. This is WCEG the Hollywood of the South. I will be coming again in 2 weeks with my next guest, who is a stunt coordinator. So, you know, I go through all kind of stuff and I bring all kind of people to y'all because I want y'all to know the whole in and out of this industry. And I only entertain and interview the hottest that is out there. And to me, we all are hot in everything that we're trying to do. So, Terry, thank you again. Thank you. God bless you. And that is a wrap on the show. Good night, everybody.